I just keep making the same mistake over and over again. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I just got back from Florida, and in that trip, I decided to take with me a Fujifilm X-H2 and my Nikon FE2 film camera. This bad boy right here, you guys know and love this thing. And the only lens I took with me on my X-H2 was the 35mm, or 23mm rather, 1.4 lens, because I had told you I was going to stick with one focal length for about a month and then switch over, right? And so I had finished the 50mm focal length. I was shooting film. I finished off my roll of Cinestill 400D. I sent that out to, where did I send it to? The darkroom in California. That's being developed and scanned. I hope to get those back this week. And so I finished that, and then I switched over to the Fuji X-H2 with the 23-1.4, which is the 35mm equivalent. And honestly, the lens is great. The X-H2 is a great camera, and I regret bringing that camera with me. I'm just an idiot. I keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again, and I came back from this trip very frustrated. Let me tell you what happened. But before I tell you what happened, I'll show you guys some pictures that I took, and I'll tell you about them real quick because the camera's fantastic. So here's some So all of those were shot on the 23-1.4. Those were all shot on the 23-1.4R lens, the first generation, not the new LM, WR, whatever, the old one. I think the old Fuji lenses have some character to them. The 14-2.8 that I'm shooting this on, the 16-1.4, the 23-1.4, the 35-1.4, and the 56-1.2. All good lenses, but that's besides the point. And I shot all those images straight out of camera. I built some color profiles, a Provia and Classic Chrome, and then a black and white profile. I built those in camera, and I love that whole experience. That's really good. This is a big win for me, actually. One of the things I've always hated about taking cameras on vacation is coming down and having to edit afterwards. It's not that I don't mind editing a couple images here or there, because that's fun, but I like to edit 400 of them. It's just, I don't have time for that. And so that is one of the huge benefits of Fuji. But where the issue lies is on the X-H2, and just not really that camera itself, but big cameras in general. I keep making the same mistake. So what we did for the first 3 days, we went to Magic Kingdom, we went to Epcot, we went to Hollywood Studios. That was exhausting and taxing in itself. And then the second half of the trip, we went down to Marco Island. And I intended to just shoot the X-H2 with the 23-1.4 on it. And after 2 days, I didn't want to pick the camera up. In fact, I didn't really pick the camera up after that. In fact, part of the Disney trip, I shot mostly iPhone and film. And because it just was a pain in the butt. I mean, I had it over my shoulder on a Peak Design strap, and that helps a ton. But I just found like it cumbersome to carry around, and I was craving a small camera. And I do this all the time. It's the specs, the head versus the heart. And I realized my mindset is totally wrong about the cameras. So like I said, I set the X-H2 down. I grabbed my film camera. I shot that. I shot iPhone for a little bit. And I'll show you some of the iPhone shots as I'm talking through you right now. They're great. I'll come back to that top in just a second. But what I realized is I'm trying to make one camera do all the jobs, because what I'm ultimately after is I'm ultimately after one camera that lives with me all the time. The problem is what I do with my cameras are very different. I do video. I want something that documents, right, my kids, and I want something that can shoot sports and do some longer focal length type stuff. The thing is, those are different cameras. If I want something to live with me, on me all the time, to shoot my kids, that's something small. That's an X100, that's a GR, or that's that type of camera, or even like an XE4 with a pancake on it. But then I want something that can do video, and that's not a GR. That's definitely not really an X100, right? That's not really want. So that's something more like an XT4 or an XH2. And then I want something that can shoot sports and stuff like that. So you need some good autofocus. My mindset's been wrong about it the entire time. I'm going to try and change my mindset on it, I think. And I think that's the biggest thing, because I came home from this trip, I was frustrated, ready to sell everything, go back to Micro Four Thirds, ready to invest back in my Leica M system and just shoot iPhone when I don't need it. I don't know where I'm at, honestly, as I make this video right now. But I'll tell you for one thing for sure. Size is still king, especially on vacation. The limitations are fun to work with. I think a GR3 is in my future after this trip. And the XH2 I don't think necessarily has a place over the XT4 in itself. I actually find the XT4 ergonomically, for me, better and easier to use with the SCM switch in the front and the clickable wheels. I think those are important. I really do. I do think the XH2 is a better built camera. I think the autofocus is better, that kind of stuff. But I make this video, I keep making the same mistakes. And, you know, the iPhone needs to be sufficient in a pinch. That's what I came away with. Because it is now. If you shoot it raw and you edit in Lightroom real quickly or whatever you use, the files are good. I think it's when you use the straight out of camera presets that iPhone has, you don't get the resolution you want. I showed you those pictures earlier in the video. Those are plenty detailed. They look good. They're usable if you're not, you know, hung up on a shallow depth of field. So if you're going to carry a camera around because you want the aesthetic or the feel of whatever, you got to decide what you're actually going to do. And so the step up from that would be a Ricoh GR, for sure. The next step up is something interchangeable lens. And I think you can fill the gap there with anything. It could be a Sony, it could be a Canon, it could be a Nikon, it can be whatever. And then for me, I need the video aspect of it. And I think that's what I'm kind of getting to, is that I have to come with the mindset of pick the right tool for the job. Quit trying to shoehorn everything into one camera. But the flip side of that, why I have a problem with that, is because I don't like all the inconsistencies. I want to get super comfortable with one camera and just be really, really good at it. And that's what keeps causing me to have a bunch of gas, honestly. It's the different scenarios combined with the size and what I'm doing, you know, that causes an issue. Example, I'm going skiing again in a few weeks, and it's like, with the GR3, it'd be great for that. But it's not weather sealed, so if I dump it, that could be an issue. What about the XT4? I could bring that, but that's kind of cumbersome to bring around. You see what I'm saying? It's that, like, you just kind of need to be okay not having a perfect tool for every single scenario. You kind of just need to be okay using the gear that you have to its capabilities and learning it and being really, really good with it, and just foregoing whatever you're missing and going from there. I don't know where I'm going to end up. This XT4 is stuck around the longest because it has the flip screen. I was a huge fan of the XT3. But for video, it didn't work because it didn't have IBIS or a flip screen. The XT4 kind of fills that void, right? And as much as I keep looking at other places, I kind of like the XT4. It's not perfect. It's far from perfect. But I kind of like it. So we'll see what happens. And maybe I'll add a GR for the situations in which I need something smaller. I keep making the same mistakes. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think about the straight out of camera colors. I think they look pretty good. Let me know what you guys think about the dilemma. How do you guys think about your gear? Do you think about it as like right tool for the right job? Or have you guys found something that's like, hey, this is my camera or my ride or die? If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then oh well. Because that's like my other mindset is Leica M cameras. I love them. But the autofocus, like there is no autofocus. It's manual focus. Like that drives you crazy. And they're not weather sealed and they're expensive and all these things. And so like practically, it's not a good camera for me. But I love the shooting experience. So, you know, it's kind of where the XT4 kind of falls in as the second best option for that. So this is definitely all over the place mentally. You can tell I'm all over the place. But I realize I keep making the same mistake because I'm thinking about gear wrong. And I'm curious how you guys think about it. So let me know in the comment section below. I appreciate you guys watching this, and I will see you guys in the next video. I'm actually going to be probably taking a trip with my Mustang Mach-E, the EV. And so I might do some, I might take you guys along for a vlog. And that'll be photos meets, here's what it's like to own an EV in the winter, longer road trip, charging on the non-Tesla network, all that stuff. I think I might make that video. I think that might be interesting to somebody, but I'll bake photos into it as well. So, okay, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And comment section below. This is YouTube for me is a conversation piece. So engage down below. I appreciate your comments. I'll see you in the next one.